If you'd like to figure out how to guarantee that your manifestation will appear in your 3D world, no matter what it is, a new love, a specific person, money, health, change of appearance, new job, grades, whatever it is, if you want a way to guarantee that it's going to happen, you're going to want to watch this video. Hello, my fellow flawless, limitless, sexy, sassy, saucy HBICs. How are you on this lovely morning, afternoon, or evening? How are you all? I hope you are all choosing to be your new selves. I hope you are, and if you are not, I can't wait for you to tell me the reason why in the comments so I can tell you how you're wrong. Let me jump in with a shortened intro if you need help figuring out what's going on between you and your manifestation. Please feel free to email me at manifestingwithkimberly@gmail.com. All of my coaching options are in the drop box below. They're in the screens that just went by. I have 2 channel memberships where I go live with my channel members every single week. I go live with them on Tuesdays. That's the exclusive live group. I go live with them at 9:30 p.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time. Yes, it is a zhuzh-only group. We only talk about success stories and tips and tricks. I also then have the hot seat / group coaching. I go live with them every single Friday at 9 a.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time. If you join that group, that is the group that gives you access to both of the channel membership live streams. Yes. In that group, you can ask me anything you want about your circumstances, just not in the zhuzh group. I have TikTok, I have Instagram, I have Clapper. If you want to hang out with me outside of YouTube, come on over to Kimberly's Other Life. That is my other YouTube channel. Okay? That was my shortened version. If you have questions about coaching or hooking up with me, all the answers, drop box below. All answers, drop box below. Let's see. Okay, how to guarantee that you get your manifestation. How to guarantee it? It's actually really simple. We just allow our logical, literal thinking mind to get in our damn way and make it more difficult because we keep thinking logical thoughts and comparing our 3D and deciphering our 3D through logical, literal 3D eyes. So then it feels hard, feels difficult. Sometimes it feels like it's taken forever, right? It's not that hard. We make it hard because we as humans have been conditioned to make all our decisions based off of things we've already experienced or based off of what other people have experienced, based off of what we see with our senses, our eyeballs. We make our decisions from that. We size up scenarios and make decisions based off, well, this is what happened the last time I got myself into a new love relationship. This is how that person acted. So I can probably expect that this new one's going to do the same damn thing. So I'm going to be sure to not do the same thing I did in the last relationship so that I can protect my heart. So I'm not even going to put a full leg into this relationship just in case so I can yank it back out before they hurt me. That was just an example of who I used to be. Or, you're manifesting money and, hey, no point getting excited when money starts coming to you because you've got that belief that, well, any other time in the past that I would get excited that I was starting to save up some money, something would fucking break in my 3D and I would lose that money that I felt like I was finally getting ahead with, and boom, fear, based off of logical, literal reasoning. So the first thing is, in my opinion, drop the logic. Stop trying to figure everything out. Another thing we are conditioned to do is make sense of everything. We got to make sense. Everything's got to have a reason. Well, it's that thinking that gets in the way of our manifestation game. When we bring logic and literal thinking in, it's not our friend. It's just not our friend. It's never going to be our friend. From the way I see it, it's never going to be our friend. Maybe in the future can be, right? We're manifestors. We can make it be our friend, but at this time, it's not our friend. It's not our friend. The one way to guarantee your manifestation is to decide that you are now that person, that you are the you that will have whatever it is you're desiring. It's identifying as that person now. It's really that simple. Choosing to be your new self. Being in the state of consciousness of you having that thing or person in relationship. Right? That's the key with manifestation, is becoming that new self. Choosing it. Allowing yourself to have it, because you have dominion over your 3D world. You have full dominion. It doesn't always feel that way because of the one little nugget that our 3D selves, we don't control the how something unfolds. That is handled by our 4D greater self, which is also referred to as God, universe, your I amness, or higher self, or source energy, or higher power, moon memes. The 4D and above you. That 4D version of you handles the unfolding. Our 3D you doesn't. The 3D you is making the conscious decision to be that new you. Even if you have never been a version of yourself that has experienced your true heart's desires. Even if you are watching this video and you are 70 years old, and for your first 70 years, you were always disappointed, always let down. Love didn't last, money didn't last, health didn't last. Even if you have 70 plus years of bad experiences and letdowns, you can still become the new self, the self that finally gets what he or she wants. And I just pulled that age out of the air. You could be 100 years old and still do this. There is no limit, okay? There's no age limit to manifestation. You can have whatever you want, literally. The only thing that can ever get in the way of your manifestation is you. Only you. You could come in here right now and give me every damn excuse as to why you can't have what you desperately want. And all they will be is excuses. Excuses, limits, conditions. But nothing can get in the way. Just because you can't find the way, you can't figure out how something will lead to you getting your most heartfelt desire, that doesn't fucking matter. It's not your job to figure it out. It's not your job. It's your higher dimensional self that will. It's already done it because creation is finished. Everything is relying on you to make a new change. And that change is deciding to be a new version of yourself. Everything is wrapped around that decision. And how we do make that decision to be a new self is through any manifestation technique that feels good to you. Any one of them. Affirming, visualizing, scripting, inner conversating, embodying, deciding. Any one of those. And if there's any I'm forgetting, any one of them too. No limits. Let me read a little Neville. The cornerstone on which all things are based is man's concept of himself. He acts as he does and has the experiences that he does because his concept of himself is what it is, and for no other reason. There are no other causes. Had he a different concept of himself, he would act differently and have different experiences. Man, by assuming the feeling of his wish fulfilled, alters his future in harmony with his assumption. For assumptions, though false, if sustained, will harden into fact. The undisciplined mind finds it difficult to assume a state which is denied by the senses. I read that last sentence on purpose because that is one of the ways to guarantee your manifestation is disciplining your mind. Discipline. What do I mean by this? The undisciplined mind finds it difficult to enter into a new state. I don't think that was the direct quote, but that doesn't matter, does it? What does Neville mean by this? He means that those of us who allow the 3D world to push him around or her around like a really loose leaf on a tree on a, hurricane high winds day. Those of us who believe every single thing they're experiencing in the 3D from the place of it's never gonna change, this is permanent. You are the ones that find it difficult to become new self. This is why we talk about detachment in this community. But detachment from the place of not letting the 3D world tell you who you are. Not letting circumstances and conditions control you. Detachment does never mean you cannot think of your manifestation. It never means that. But the quicker you get to a place of being disciplined with your mind, do you understand that disciplining your mind does not mean you're a bad manifester if a shitty thought pops into your head? You don't control what thoughts come in. You don't. They just come in. Think about it. Sit here. Just sit here for a minute. Pause the video. Just sit and wait and observe. Random thoughts just come into your mind. So it's never our fault or a bad thing if a fearful negative thought comes up. Where we start being the boss is when we pick that thought, we select it. So let's say, for example, you're manifesting a specific person, and let's pretend that that person is someone that has dumped you in the past or cheated on you in the past. They very much hurt your feelings. And you just got finished telling yourself that you are your new self. You just affirmed that you are your new self. You are the version of you that has the most loving, fulfilling, committed relationship. And as soon as you finished that sentence, a thought popped in, remembering the day they dumped you. Or remembering the day that you found out that they cheated on you. You remembered that. It popped in your mind. You sat in it. You chose it. And then you remembered how you felt that day. And you're replaying in your mind what they said to you, what you said back. Maybe you're thinking of, I wish I had said this, or I wish I had said that. And you're listening. And then what happens? More and more shitty, unfavorable thoughts come in. What would have been the better way of handling it? Or handling it from a disciplined mind? Yeah, I'm not doing that today. That belongs to old self. Or, nope, sorry, that thought is just a vehicle to the reality that I no longer partake in. That's not who I am anymore. Or if the thought itself didn't jar you, didn't give you an instantly yuck feeling, we don't have to do anything with it. We could have just been, new thought, move on to a new thought. Let that one float right on by. See it for what it is. Just a thought. Doesn't matter. It's not who I am anymore. I don't have to do anything with it. I can just let it go. That's what a disciplined mind does. One of those things I just suggested. Now, also, I do want to say that if there is anybody out there who enjoys like instantly affirming when a shitty thought comes in, if that feels good to you, do it. But it's not a necessity, because we don't have to fear our thoughts. Okay? I really want you to hear that. You don't have to fear your thoughts. It doesn't matter that the thought popped up. It matters what we do with it. Undisciplined minds allow those shit thoughts in. Sit back and chill and marinate. Relive it. I used to relive things and like I could feel my face turning red, remembering prior experiences. Sometimes embarrassment red, like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that, or I can't believe I did that. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I totally just relived that. For what purpose? So I can manifest more of those experiences? No, thank you. I had to become disciplined. Discipline doesn't have to mean hard. Discipline means a willingness to let shitty habits go. Habits that do not serve you. You've been allowing yourself to do stupid shit like that your whole life, which is why you've probably experienced things that are not favorable. And that's not to beat you up, pick on you, tell you you're a failure because of that. No, we all did that. Every single one of us did that. Till we found manifestation and realized, and a change in who I believe I am, a change in my thought is really going to change my life. Yeah. Manifesting is creating a new habit, the habit of you choosing a new self and actually knowing and remembering who you really are. And who you really are is pure, unadulterated consciousness, aka God, aka universe, higher power, source energy, moonbeams, whatever you feel good using, whatever words feel good. But that's who you are, really. From there, you've chosen the concept of being, for myself, Kimberly. From there, I've selected which version of Kimberly I'm being. For most of my life, up until my early 40s, I was a very victim-y version of Kimberly. I wasn't terrible. I wasn't a bad person, but I was victim-y. And I didn't really believe I could have the things I desired. I thought that was wishing. And that shit only happened for other people, not for someone like me. Well, I have changed that thoroughly. And I am now living the things that I thought for sure I'd never experience. I am now living those things. I have changed my life in all areas. Financially, romantically, in the love department, my body, my health. I've changed it all. But I also don't expect myself to be perfect. I just choose to be a little disciplined with my mind. Again, I said that about being perfect on purpose because we are not expected to be perfect. I am not perfect. I don't claim to be. But I do know from experience what a disciplined mind can bring. And again, discipline. I know that word used to feel restrictive to me. Like dieting. Restriction. The only thing that we're restricted from is sitting and marinating in thoughts that don't bring us what we want. So why would we want to sit and fucking think them anyway? You see what I'm saying? You want to choose thoughts that feel good. Thoughts that feel good to me are, I'm going to have whatever I want. I can have whatever I want, whenever I want it. I get to be any version of myself and love my life. I get to. Because of who I am. And because I now am in the awareness of knowing that I have full dominion over my 3D world. And if I want something, I'm going to have it. The key to the guaranteeing your manifestation part is also I allow. I allow the 3D. I don't try to suffocate, squeeze, control my 3D. I really do give everything the meaning that it's leading me to have exactly what I want or whatever I'm currently, in the awareness of manifesting. That's it. Doesn't mean I don't have a day where I'm irritated with my 3D. Of course I do. I'm human. I'm still having a human experience. So are you. But I allow. So for example, with my specific person, if he and I have a tiff, have a little fighty fight, I don't look at that as it's the end of the fucking world and that I'm currently now not getting my manifestation. No. I know, okay, and it might not be instant too. Please know this. It might not be instant that I get back to new self, but at some point, I always do. I always come back to my decision of who I want to be, despite my 3D. So even if he and I are arguing, I, at some point, always come back to, wait a minute, what am I doing? Who am I being? I am the version of myself that's in the most loving, fulfilling, committed relationship. That's who I am. Even sometimes while we are in the midst of arguing and he is talking, that is what I'm doing on the inside of my mind. I am the version of myself that is in the most amazing, loving, fulfilling, committed relationship. That's who I am. Yes, sometimes I sing in my head. And I will tell you that every time I return to my decision, that argument or whatever I'm in the midst of with SP melts, goes away. There's a shift in his consciousness and a shift in mine every single time because I have dominion over my reality. I'm not imposing on his free will. I'm choosing the version of him that wants me the way I want him. See what I'm saying? So the way to guarantee that you get what you want is choosing your new self with repetition. So every day I start my day telling myself who I am, right? Because once shit manifests, number one, I want to maintain it. And number two, I'm on to the next stuff that I'm manifesting. So we're always going to remind ourselves of who we are, right? It's just a reminder. Who am I being? If you consistently do that, consistently choosing to be the new you, and listen, using whatever manifestation technique that you like is you making the decision. But what's important, the important nugget is once I'm done making my decision, I live my life the rest of the day. I don't hyper focus on what I'm manifesting. The only time I'm going to remind myself throughout my day of who I am is if I find myself sitting in some shitty thoughts. Maybe I feel it in my body, like a slumpy feeling. But those are the moments I might remind myself of who I am. But other than that, I am not hyper focused on anything. I'm enjoying my life. Because that is something I consciously wanted. I consciously wanted to be the version of me that wasn't sweating shit, who was happy, fulfilled in her life, could get up being happy to be alive, because I wasn't always that person. So that was a part of my new self list. And that is my life now. But I disciplined my mind. I did not allow myself to consistently sit and marinate in shitty thoughts. I wasn't afraid when shitty thoughts popped up. I just don't select them. I don't choose them. I don't keep replaying arguments in my head and wish I had said this or wish I said that. I was that girl too. I don't do that anymore. I don't do unfavorable habits from my old self because I wanted change. I wanted what I wanted. And I needed to become the me that could have it. So that included letting some old habits go. For example, old habits of consistently checking their social media and shit like that. I let those go because they weren't serving me. They were bringing me shit I didn't want. So this is how you guarantee that you'll get what you want. You keep choosing your new self and you discipline your mind. Discipline doesn't have to feel like work. It's just creating new habits. Manifesting doesn't have to be hard. It feels hard when we are allowing our 3D reality to feel more real than our imagination. It feels hard when we are bothered by circumstances and conditions that were created from our limited selves. So it's silly to marinate. See what I'm saying? That's the only time this feels hard, and we're believing in something out here more than in our decision of who we want to be. Choose who you want to be. Decide that's who you are every single day, and you will get what you want in the 3D. That's how you do it, with a disciplined mind. And on that note, I'll see you tomorrow.